Why do we practice? Why do we do this? There comes a point when the story-making mind, I'm going to speak for myself, not for anybody else, because everybody has their own reason for coming to practice. But a common story I hear, and one that I relate to very much, is this story-making mind. Something happens in our life when we can see the story-making mind and we can realize how absurd it is, how absurd our lives are. And we see that our lives are like in a track. Like in the olden days, there'd be wagon tracks in the trail, and you'd put your wagon in the tracks, and they'd be the right distance, the wheels would be the right distance apart, and you would just stay in those tracks, and you could just let your animals go. You could just go for 10 miles, 100 miles, and just go down this trail. And we can see our lives just getting into this rut is another word for it, and staying there. And realizing, who am I really? Who am I outside of this rut? Am I just going to live this for the rest of my life? So this is one reason we may start to practice seeing the story and wanting to know the answer to this question: what's before the story? What's before the story? I was taking a series of classes on telling stories, and the teacher actually asked himself that same question. We are story-making beings. What is before the story? And his answer was, well, what's before the Big Bang? It's really that level of unanswerableness. It's just impossible for us to think what is before the story. That question would be a really good question in the interview room, actually. What's before the Big Bang? What's before the story? So that's what our practice is about. It's very repetitious, and yet, if you remember what Paul said today and what's said at the beginning of every meditation session on Wednesday nights when we give meditation instructions, return to the present moment. Return to the present moment. So returning to the present moment means this brown floor, that car driving by. Here in the Dharma room, I can hear other people breathing. I can hear the fan and the lights, and I can tell the story that it's the same lights, the same breathing. But when I return, just now, just this brown floor, just this humming of the lights, returning to our lives. That's the whole practice, returning again and again to this moment. No matter how many times, sometimes Paul says, it doesn't matter if it's 99 times you get distracted, 100 times come back. Come back, come back. Because where is our real life? Nowhere else. There's nowhere else to live. Cannot live in the future, cannot live in the past. Only right now with the voices of the people walking past. That's the only place life is.